There's been discussions recently over whether a vegan diet is really healthy for you. Now, you're surprised I said that, aren't you? It's not because anybody's claiming that it isn't. More that, like with any diet, there are good bits, but there are also bad bits. Just because it's plant-based, don't assume it's all good for you. That's the message. This is especially key this month because quite a few of us are taking part in Veganuary. You got your Dry January and then you got your Veganuary. It's a way of detoxing, I suppose, trying to start the new year on a healthy footing. But all diets should be about balance. Any expert will tell you that. So, if you're midway through Veganuary, how do you plan your plant-based diet properly? Well, let's bring in Vanessa Sturman on this. She's from Energize and Thrive Plant-Based. That means she's a plant-based health coach and speaker. I asked our Vanessa if it's true. Like any diet, the plant-based diet has its pitfalls.
Yes, and this is a really good time to bring this up because people are maybe struggling if they've not tried to do plant-based before. And I think it's important to recognise that chips and Oreos are vegan and plant-based. And obviously, if we were to live off those, that would not be healthy at all. And we're not taught in school how to have truly balanced, satisfying, healthy food, which is why we have pretty much a big health epidemic in this country as well.
Yeah. So it's the same with all things. There are good and there are bad. And we shouldn't assume that because we are plant-based that we are all healthy.
Yes, that's right. I mean, many of the switches, even if they are not the pinnacle of health, often will be a lot healthier than the animal product side. But I think what's really important to recognize is that whole food plant based food, so we're talking about eating legumes, your beans, whole grains, potatoes, lots of fruit and vegetables, tofu. That is so healthy for you. It's going to help your energy. It's going to help your gut health. So your gut bacteria live off fiber. If we don't feed it fiber, we're not going to have the best gut health. So this is an important message for everyone. So we want the main part of our diet to be whole food plant based, and that can be it can be a beautiful chickpea curry, it can be bean burgers with sweet potato wedges, and then you can have a bit of that other stuff around it, some of the less healthy stuff. But it's important, the main of our diet is whole foods where we can.
Are there any other vegan junk foods out there that we should think maybe twice about?
So I think it's about how often we have them,
Ah,
because junk food, processed food, this isn't a vegan or plant-based problem. There's been processed food for so long, and it's only recently that we've had a bit of plant-based and vegan processed food. It is a problem for everyone, and actually everyone should be looking at how often am I having processed food. So it's not to say, right, I should stay away from this. It's to say, okay, some nights I do want to have a plant-based burger from the supermarket. What I say to that is, all right, get some whole grains with it, or make your own potato chips with it, get a load of veg with it, make your own guacamole. It's about it, giving it its place, as opposed to stay away from it, because I do love a good plant-based donut as well, and I do love having my treats sometimes, and it's not about giving those up.
I'll have a plant-based donut with you.
Please, yes. That sounds great.
It does. Where do you stand on veganuary? Is it something you embrace because people are trying a new way of life and it could actually change their life, or do you think it's a bit of a gimmick?
I think veganuary is absolutely fantastic. I think it has helped so many people go into vegan and plant-based food. And it's also allowed people to do that in quite a non-judgmental way.
Yeah.
It's really focused on the food side. It's got people excited. The only thing I'll say to this, and this is nothing to do with veganuary not being incredible, is just to let people remember that you don't have to do 100% vegan. That doesn't mean you've failed veganuary. You can just say, right, what's realistic for me right now is 80% plant-based. I'm going to have some fun. I'm not going to beat myself up, and I'm just going to learn and enjoy. And I personally think, and it depends what you're like as a person, that you might be more likely to continue if you've given yourself that bit of leeway. So veganuary doesn't necessarily say you have to go 100% vegan. It challenges you to say, try plant-based and vegan, but there's no vegan police going to come and knock at your door if you don't do it 100%.
That's why I like you see, because you're not a vegan policewoman.
I'm not. That's not my job title.
No, it's not your job title, no. And if people are on Veganuary now and they're at their halfway point and they're starting to think, well, they might be starting to think, great, this is a new way of life for me, I'm really enjoying it. They might be thinking, I need a bit more variety. What's the tip to get us through Veganuary so that we can enjoy being a vegan or part vegan as we get into February, etc.?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. And this advice is really important for everyone because, like I said, we're not taught this stuff in school. So, one of the things that's very important is make sure you've got a real balance on your plate. So, make sure you've got some complex carbs, and that can be some kind of whole grain. Make sure you've got lots of veggies, or maybe it's fruit. Make sure you've got enough protein. And yes, there is protein in all plants, but make sure you've got whether that's beans or some tofu or some tempeh, and you can get those pre-marinated, some teriyaki tofu from the supermarket, for instance. And make sure you've got, you're eating some whole fats like a bit of avocado, a bit of nuts, maybe some olives. Really make sure you've got a complete plate and make sure you're trying different things. So if you're always having a bag of spinach, go and try something else for salad. Go and try a different bag of salad. If you're usually eating cabbage with your dinner, make sure you're having broccoli another time. We need all that variety to give us the nutrients we need to feed our gut. But this is information a lot of people struggle with. And actually, it's not just about giving advice to people who are trying to be fully plant-based. We all need to get more plants into our diet to have optimal health.
She's great, isn't she? Vanessa Sturman. She's not a vegan policewoman. Vegan donut. I fancy one of them with me coffee. It's about coffee time, isn't it? Anyway, there's Vanessa Sturman helping you to keep on the right track if you're still ploughing through Veganuary.
Tonight.